The Mercedes-AMG A35 is a bit of a perplexing thing, not quite a full-bore AMG product, but certainly a step up over the standard Mercedes-Benz vehicles. In some ways this is a good thing, and in others I'm not so sure. So let's get on the road and really drive the A35, because there's a lot that needs to be discussed from behind the wheel, and then later on in the video I'll talk about the interior setup and the technology in the AMG A35. So the A35 is powered by a 2-litre twin-scroll turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that makes 302 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. Through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, you can send power to each wheel through the 4-matic all-wheel drive system, though 50% of available torque will be able to go to the rear differential. It is very much a front-wheel drive biased all-wheel drive system. Mercedes can claim that this car can go 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.7 seconds, but Car and Driver makes the claim that it can go to that same figure in 4.3 seconds. And from behind the wheel, honestly, I'm going with the smaller number, the 2, because this A35 is shockingly quick. It feels rapid. Launching off of the line, or really just using the power band in the mid-range, it feels very, very enthusiastic. Honestly, from being behind the wheel driving this thing, it's crazy to think that there is a 45 iteration of the 2-litre 4-cylinder engine that is in North America strictly reserved for the CLA, kind of this A-class with a bit of a bum extension on it. The dual clutch transmission is perhaps my favorite part of this entire experience. Just listen to a couple gear shifts here. I'll slow down a bit. Really fast shifts, and in manual mode it will not upshift for you. It lets you suffer with your mistakes, and that to me is important in a performance car. I want to be a better driver, and I want the car to punish me to improve myself. And with this transmission, it is always fast, has yet to refuse any of my inputs, and even when it's left alone in an automatic mode here in Sport or Sport Plus, the system still knows what it should be doing. Just like that there, I missed first. There we go. So this is something that is critical for me in any car with paddle shifters or anything that claims to be a sports sedan. Let me take charge. Now, the A35 with its transmission, as I said, probably my favorite part of the entire experience, because it fits what I think a sports sedan could be. And for a subcompact vehicle, the A35 is incredibly convincing, but there's quite a few issues that I have with the whole packaging of this vehicle. Starting off with this 4-cylinder engine, there is so much synthesized artificial noise in this vehicle that it's almost offensive, really. When you put the windows down, you can even barely hear the exhaust or the engine note. Not that you'd really want to. You have all of this pumped-in audio that is the dominant part of the audible experience when you put your foot down. Now, I'm sure to compensate for what isn't a very nice engine or exhaust noise, Mercedes puts all those crackles and pops on the overrunner of the exhaust, or when you let off mid-range like that. Don't know if you could hear those gunshots, but yes, it's maybe a little immature in a vehicle like this, but people like that. But it's the same pop, pop, pop every time that you let off the throttle, so it feels very engineered, very artificial. It's the same bang, bang, bang every single time. The only genuine part from mechanical noise to me is the turbo whooshing. Hearing that spool up and letting that blow off, all of that whistling is really the only enjoyable part about the sound experience here in this AMG for me. Even though this engine is quite a weapon, it honestly just doesn't sound good. Driving this vehicle hard, you'll notice that there really isn't much connection to the steering. Even though it's very accurate and nicely weighted, you're getting no road feedback at all. So as the A-Class is a subcompact vehicle, we're talking about a vehicle with a small overall footprint, and anything like that is going to feel busy on the roads. And yes, this A35 has quite a bit of firmness in its suspension, but it can feel overly jumpy on even normal bits of road. I don't think it's out of line of what you would hope to expect out of a sports sedan, something that's involving and youthful, but I think you would have to be youthful enough to own a vehicle like this. It is much harsher than other subcompacts that I've come across, and it's something that I'm enjoying now when I'm pushing it on a back road, but I'm not sure I could live with it. Brakes are good at the top, but they lose that little bit of firmness further in their travel, which is kind of the opposite way of what I would hope to it. But driving this A35 hard feels capable, feels competent, but I'm not sure it's really all that enjoyable for someone like me. So getting off of the interesting bit of road, putting the car back into comfort, setting the cruise control, there's another fundamental problem that I have with the A35. It might be the A-Class in general, I'm not sure. First time I've been able to test out this subcompact, and what I am noticing more than anything is a lot of road noise. There's a fair amount of wind noise too. I don't know if something's maybe not aligned quite well with the window seals on the rear right-hand side, but I'm noticing a lot of wind catching over there. To me, being in a premium car is all about the refinement and the isolation from the road. And I know the subcompact offerings from all these manufacturers are going to suffer in some capacity. They are going to have to save money somewhere. The road isolation for me is enough for me to personally not consider the A35. Cruising along like this, the 7-speed transmission is still excellent, very smart programming. So the driving experience for me in the A35 is very much a mixed bag. There's certainly some thrills, there's certainly some things that will get you excited when you see an interesting bit of road ahead of you. And I suppose as a sports sedan, that does fit the bill, but for me it isn't very emotional. There's no real passion from behind the wheel for me. So let's move on to the interior of the A-Class, because I think overall this is a very successful space. All of the best technology that Mercedes offers really does scale down well in this vehicle. We've got the 2 huge screens that have endless amounts of customization. The ambient lighting is so powerful that even on a very bright sunny day like today, you can still clearly see all of the ambient lighting around the cabin. There's a fair amount of piano black plastic that's really attracting a lot of dust and fingerprints, which how many other cars come with the exact same issues? So really nothing new there. The air vents are fantastic. You have this little handle that pulls out over the wireless phone charger to hold the phone in place if you were to do a little bit of exuberant driving. And these are the standard seats with leatherette and Alcantara, and they are surprisingly supportive. You can get what is called the AMG performance seats with a lot more upper body holding capability, but I actually found these seats to be perfectly decent. I'm 6'4" and I just fit here in the A-Class, but it doesn't feel tight. I don't feel cramped, and that's largely because the glass reaches up so high. I don't have to duck down to get a good look on the road. And speaking about the second row of seats, again, as a subcompact car, it's surprisingly good back there. My head is grazing and it is tight, but with 3 split-away seats and a sizable boot, the A-Class as a sedan is a surprisingly versatile vehicle. Classic modern Mercedes issues is that the build quality isn't as good as what you'd expect out of its main German rival, so there's a lot of flex and quite a few body components, and I'm noticing a little rattling up here, so build quality honestly isn't great, but they are making up for it by a very good looking design and a lot of technology that honestly works very well. The touch screen is snappy, the touchpad down here is very accurate, I love the haptic feedback on it. I'm not so fond of the BlackBerry touchpads on the steering wheel, but at least that's an option for someone to use. And I like the AMG decal across the aluminium. It doesn't look too childish. It actually fits the aesthetic of this car. So I need to finish up this video, and I'm honestly having a particularly difficult time trying to find how I put into words my feelings towards this product, because essentially I like the AMG A35 for a few specific reasons, but I don't know if it's successful as an overall package. So there's plenty of things in a subcompact sports sedan that you would hope to find. The drive is involving, the engine is thrilling, but it doesn't sound particularly good, and there's no emotional connection to the experience. It's a decent enough Mercedes in the way that we have some truly excellent technology that is going to get a lot of people excited if this is going to be their first premium vehicle. But you look around the rest of the cabin and the only leather to be found is here on the steering wheel. There's a lot of build quality issues. And if you define a premium vehicle having better road manners, better road refinement, the A35 isn't going to supply that to you. So I like the AMG. It's something I personally couldn't own. I've enjoyed my week living with it, but I don't think I could spend more time with it than what I already have done. So how I want to finish this video is that it's critical for you to know what you are looking for in this vehicle. Do you want something fun without something being too serious? Then it might be worth your while. Are you looking for the technology and the features? These are all the kind of things I think you need to determine for yourself. But no matter what, thank you very much for taking the time to watching this video. Really appreciate your time spent here, and I hope to see you again on the channel soon.